A tribute to Cannes Film Festival, a celebration of cinema, glamour, and humanity. Statement from Hollywood Insider's CEO, Pritan Ambroase.
If Cannes was a movie, it would be a romance.
It is a love story.
I think so.
It's about being free. It's about being liberated in that moment.
Festival de Cannes, Cannes Film Festival. While awards shows such as the Oscars, Golden Globes, and Emmys are made to bring together actors, actresses, filmmakers, and artists in a night of honor and acknowledgement, nothing compares to the magic that the Cannes Film Festival brings. The festival, officially named Festival de Cannes, brings together all nationalities, races, origins. Anyone who has a love for film comes together to enjoy 10 days of celebrating moving pictures, cinema. This experience is a celebration for cinema, an opportunity not only to see actors and actresses dressed to their best, but a chance to sit down and watch what they are all there for, film.
Well, as a director, it's great to show your film internationally for the first time at Cannes. It's a real honor to do that.
Few events have grown to become more synonymous with cinematic exceptionalism over the last 80 years than that of France's much celebrated Cannes Film Festival, the annual assembly of the film industry's best and brightest from around the globe. At the Palais des Festivals et des Congrès, Cannes is often cited at the center of the international cinema culture as well as one of its most fierce guardians. Founded in 1938 with an inaugural celebration 8 years later in 1946, the festival has survived world wars and civil upheaval, remaining a prominent pace-setter amongst the big five global film festivals along with Venice, Berlin, TIFF, and Sundance.
While we're down south, let's drop in at Cannes, where the third annual film festival has been held.
During its lifespan, the festival has repeatedly proved itself as the foremost prediction of emergent filmic talent, celebrating the likes of Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, 1976, Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, 1994, and Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, 2019.
It's sort of a kind of a religious film in the sense that it explodes into great violence, repression into violence, almost like a cleansing.
Hollywood Insider's CEO, Pritan Ambrose's complete support to the Festival de Cannes 2021. Hollywood Insider's CEO and philanthropist Pritan Ambroase believes in and utilizes the power of cinema and has been a long-time passionate supporter of the Cannes Film Festival. He spoke on his admiration of the festival and the importance of the 74th edition in 2021, stating, "Quite simply, the show must go on. 2020 saw our world united in fear, so let us make 2021 the year where we unite in celebration and victory. I wholeheartedly and passionately support the Cannes Film Festival and its role as an ambassador and lighthouse for cinema and its brilliance."
My favorite actresses of all time, this woman just glows on screen and everything evaporates around her, and she's gorgeous, she's beautiful, but she's also extremely talented. Marion Cotillard from France. Beautiful, amazing work, amazing actress.
To me, Cannes is synonymous with cinema, and cinema's power to heal us as individuals and collectively as a society cannot be underestimated. I am proof of cinema's ability to heal. I am proof of cinema's ability to help us, the humans, to overcome all adversities. And I know I am not alone in this testament to the power of cinema. Through my life's many changes, cinema has been the constant. Various languages, yet the same magic. My love for cinema began as a child. I was that peculiar child that enjoyed movies in many languages from many countries. You could say that the need to read subtitles faster was my motivation behind learning to read at an abnormally young age.
Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump. Every beat was done to perfection.
Cinema taught me about our world, and the power of that 1-inch barrier ended up erasing all man-made borders for me. By the age of 6, while my friends named their favorite fairy tales, cartoons, and Power Rangers, I was naming my favorite films by auteurs such as Steven Spielberg, Akira Kurosawa, Martin Scorsese, Luc Besson, Sergio Leone, Federico Fellini, Terrence Malick, Pedro Almodovar, Giuseppe Tornatore, Francis Ford Coppola, etc.
There's too many great ones. Martin Scorsese, Clint Eastwood, Meryl Streep.
By the age of 8, I had already become a fan of Cannes Film Festival and followed its yearly activities religiously, as the news of the films in competition and the iconic stars who attended Cannes enthralled me. I'd lived, breathed, and slept cinema. As friends asked their parents to take them to Disneyland, my only destination of choice was the Cannes Film Festival. Cannes was my Disneyland. Multiple home videos show me asking the cameraman to allow me to see into the lens, looking for the source of this magic that had transfixed, mesmerized, and hypnotized me. My passionate and faithful relationship with cinema that began in early childhood continues to this day. Since the age of 8, I've looked up to Cannes Film Festival as the beacon which upholds the highest standards for the best in cinema. Cannes and Venice became my compass and guided my understanding of cinema. And it is that same love for cinema, Cannes and Venice, that turned me into a storyteller. Today, I feel lucky to call myself an artist, with my chosen canvases being cinema, media, TV, and humanitarianism.
First and foremost, I am an artist, and my canvases are cinema, media, and humanitarianism.
Here's the story of my long journey with cinema in a short summary. I wrote my first screenplay at 12 years old, directed many short films by age 16, became the youngest person to be funded by British film funds to direct my first feature film at age 19, with corporations such as HSBC and others offering me additional funds. But, and a huge but at that, while directing that first film, I collapsed on set with a stroke on my spinal cord which paralyzed me. Yes, that was one sentence. Prior to the stroke, my team and I had already set our sights on Cannes as the festival to premiere the film, but the paralysis had other plans. The film was put on hold. Cannes was put on hold. I was only 19. While laying in that hospital bed, I refused to give up. I returned to my therapist, that therapist being cinema. I watched movies all day and night to drown out my frustrations and pains of being in the hospital. So when I stated cinema helped me overcome all adversities, I mean exactly that. Eventually, I defeated the paralysis, and the first place I walked into was my home, the second place, a movie theater, my second home, and thus, I found myself again, finding my light in that dark auditorium in my hometown in England. Fast forward a decade, and today, I continue on with cinema and media, not just as an audience member, but also as a creator, storyteller, and professional member of cinema and media. Thus, here I am paying homage to cinema and Cannes Film Festival.
Martin Scorsese, everything that he does turns to gold. Everything he does turns into emotions. You want to be a part of his world.
Again, I am not alone in this testament to the power of cinema. Festivals like Cannes and Venice unite people from all around the world, be it Italy, UK, Japan, Ghana, Nepal, Brazil, Iran, France, USA, South Korea, Australia, etc. As long as you have made quality cinema, no matter where you are from, your talent is sacred, your cinema is sacred, and you are provided a platform to showcase your cinema to a global audience, thus uniting us. The wisdom I learned from Cannes and Venice and my understanding of cinema's power guides this media network, Hollywood Insider, and my charity foundation, Humans of Our World, as both utilize the power of cinema to unite humans from all over the world, regardless of physical, mental, and political borders.
I love how James Cameron has this ability to create this world. Titanic, an escape. Avatar, an escape. I think James Cameron does these world-creating movies so well. Love him.
In this year, 2021, the 74th Cannes Film Festival will bring our world back together in celebration. Precisely the celebration of cinema, a magical art form that has touched individuals of all ages, colors, and languages, past all borders, natural or man-made political. Cannes Film Festival 2021 will be a definite positive. Cinema being that aspect of our modern civilization that elevates us to greater levels. This in sharp contrast to the pandemic-ridden year of 2020, which unified the whole of modern human civilization and all countries in fear, sadness, and grief, a definite negative through which we are all reminded of our humanness, our unity as one human race, and the fragility of it, albeit due to the COVID-19 virus. The pandemic traumatized one and all causing suffering in some way, shape, or form, irrespective of color, man-made political borders, and GDP per capita hierarchies. It is time that we show the virus that we are not defeated. We, the humans, will rise and prosper again and again and again. Cinema and art have long been the signature of a prospering civilization. Cinema and art have also been utilized as a protest against the evils of society. In fact, Festival de Cannes was born out of a protest against Hitler and Mussolini's invasion of the film industry and abuse of cinema. In 2021, that very same festival that stood up against human dangers such as Hitler and Mussolini in the past is standing up against the health danger known as COVID-19. Cannes must be commended for its efforts in uniting our world in a safe manner to celebrate humanity through the art of cinema. The organizers, under the leadership of Thierry Frémaux, will leave no stone unturned in their mission to take every precaution to keep us safe. I am wholly aligned with Cannes in regards to its celebration of cinema as well as its focus on bettering our environment. Cinema is more than just a form of entertainment. It is an integral part of society. I continue to be highly impressed with Cannes as they reinforce my faith in humanity and the feats that we can achieve when we unite across all borders. I love the world for uniting, be it for cinema, art, fashion, sport, etc. Let us keep cinema going for always and forever. Long live cinema, long live movie theaters, long live Festival de Cannes.
The lineup was the passion of Cannes, the comeback of the passion of Cannes.
Despite its expansive history, many may still be unfamiliar with the machinations of Cannes due to its exceeding exclusivity and impressionistic approach to selecting the highest quality of film. Thierry Frémaux, General Delegate of Cannes since 2007, said the festival's mission, in order to achieve this level of longevity, the Festival de Cannes has remained faithful to its founding purpose, to draw attention and raise the profile of films, with the aim of contributing towards the development of cinema, boosting the film industry worldwide, and celebrating cinema at an international level.
We missed that so much, being there all together, sharing emotions, which is Cannes, but which is also cinema.
With this pursuit in mind, Cannes sends headhunting talent scouts around the world to seek out the very best that cinema has to offer. From a raucous release headlined by a celebrated auteur to a humble offering from a scrappy first-timer, culminating the eventual catalog assembled for the festival's festivities, dubbed the official selection, each year, the Cannes Board of Directors appoints a new jury to watch and assess the selected films, ultimately arriving at the awarding of special prizes to the festival's best. The greatest honor a film can receive comes in the form of the Palme d'Or, the equivalent of the Best Picture at the Academy Awards.
And I'd like to thank my partner and my producer, Lawrence Bender, who was there for me every step of the way.
Additional awards are given out, such as the Grand Prix and Prix du Jury, given for supplementary favorites, the Camera d'Or for the Best Debutante Director, and selections for Best Actor, Actress, Director, and Screenplay. Over 41,000 actors, actresses, filmmakers, artists, journalists, designers, models, producers, and others come to the Cannes Film Festival every year. Unlike one-night award shows, this festival humanizes the people we are told to idolize as perfect representations of men and women we will never have the chance to become. With flawless skin, hair, physiques, and attitude, their lives are untouchable, and yet this festival, while filled with glamour, allows a semi-casual atmosphere.
Here we have the director, Hu Xiaoxian, with his two Taiwanese actresses.
If you've never studied film or been on a set, then the chances of knowing the volume of work it takes to shoot a single scene would blow your mind to learn. The number of people and hours of dedication to perfect a single shot that only has under 5 seconds to impact a storyline, it's genuinely amazing and challenging to even wrap your mind around.
所以后来拍摄，其实我觉得最大困难是怎么样我们可以找到一个新的角度。
This event is the time in which film lovers, aspirers, and art admirers come together to appreciate the art and influence film brings to the world. In addition, the Cannes Film Festival is an outlet for flowing filmmaking perspective and ideas, such as the French New Wave, which influenced the American film noir from the 40s and 50s. The Cannes Film Festival is truly an extraordinary event, but its beginning was not as perfect as its prestigious outcome.
À votre point de vue à vous, c'est-à-dire que maintenant vous vous sentez un monsieur sérieux?
Oui, moi je considère que c'est important d'être sérieux.
To those who breathe, live, and study filmmaking, those indescribable moments when the theater sits in silence to witness the bittersweet existence of another life in a fictional universe, there truly is nothing comparable. As people, our connections to strangers never come closer than we sit arm to arm with someone. We will never know their name or life story, and yet, for 2 hours, we casually sit next to strangers, all going through the same adventure of indulging ourselves with fictional stories. There's small yet heart-swelling things about our lifetimes that make life worth living. One of those things being that people write and create worlds that do not exist within our lives, but solely in our imaginations.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup to my wonderful actors and my producers and the wonderful studio that helped me make this movie.
These made-up characters, storylines, and universes save real lives every single day. Real people with real issues who are trapped and alone in their minds, but find that a fictional world filled with crime-fighting superheroes or wizards with best friends is the one thing to stop them from ending it all. Men, women, and non-binary filmmakers, the ones who dedicate their lives to create moving art that challenges social norms or dictates the power of love, these people are the heroes to many real people.
You know what I love?
This is my family.
Thanks for the great day.
And I'm telling you now, nobody messes with my family.
Beginning in darkness, remarkable origins as a beacon against hate. The beginning of the most prestigious film festival, hosting some of the world's most distinguished films and guests, was not an easy journey, as the event's creation began in one of the darkest eras of our existence. With hate surrounding every corner of the world, the Cannes Film Festival started as an indirect result of fascism during World War II. In 1932, the world's first annual International Film Festival was inaugurated in Venice. To great applause and celebration of cinema became paramount.
Tickets were about £14 each, but once you had one, there was plenty to do. You could dance, or you could watch dancing.
But by 1938, the Venice Film Festival had been invaded by fascist and Nazi propaganda, heavily inferred upon by the authoritarian fascist bent of Italy's then Prime Minister Benito Mussolini and their allies with the rapidly ascending Third Reich in Germany. As a result, the prize winners and film selections were heavily favored towards countries of the fascist alliance, such as Benito Mussolini's Italy and Adolf Hitler's Germany, leading all views to be one-sided. Venice was overtaken and a clear lack of neutrality was evident when it came to selecting and awarding films.
The war through Nazi eyes.
In 1938, when French director Jean Renoir's Le Grand Illusion, an anti-war film, a clear winner, lost for the top prize, the Coppola Mussolini, to the Mussolini-produced war film Luciano Serra, Pilot, 1938, and the Olympia 1938 documentary crafted by the Nazi Ministry of Enlightenment and Propaganda. The bias was made more apparent than ever. The film was then banned in Germany and Italy, labeled as Cinematic Public Enemy #1. This led the French, British, and American jury members to withdraw from the festival.
And the movie goes on to suggest pretty much the same thing about class, ethnicity, and political ideology.
Angered by this, some of the film industry's most powerful influences, such as Robert Favre Lebret, founder and the Cannes Film Festival's longest-serving president, Louis Lumière, the co-creator of cinema, and French writer Philippe Erlanger, brought a petition to the French government requesting an international film festival in France. The creation of the festival was first imagined by French Minister of National Education Jean Zay in 1938 as a direct competitor to the internationally predominant Venice Film Festival, a festival in which no political bias or censorship would be allowed, a complete difference from the Venice Film Festival's heavy ties to fascism, albeit unwillingly. With some hesitation of upsetting opposing forces, France finally caved into the influential figures and established a film festival at Cannes to be held in 1939 from September 1st to the 20th. This month was chosen by the city officials who believed that this would extend the summer tourist season by a couple of weeks. With the beautiful weather and French Riviera resort experience that Cannes brought and the municipal authorities willing to build an expensive venue, Cannes was ultimately the perfect destination. At the time, the official name for the festival was Le Festival International du Film, which would later be changed. This abdication quickly escalated to the formation of Cannes and as a signature bastion of artistic freedom and diversity in the face of Venice and the rising tide against fascist doctrine. The festival aimed to encourage the development of all forms of cinematographic art and foster a spirit of collaboration between film-producing countries. Hollywood icons like Cary Grant, Gary Cooper, Norma Shearer, and Spencer Tracy arrived at the French Riviera for the first ever night of the festivities on August 31st, screening William Dieterle's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1939, with plans to premiere the likes of Victor Fleming's The Wizard of Oz, 1939, and Howard Hawks' Only Angels Have Wings, 1939.
Only angels have wings.
Devastatingly enough, with hate spreading across the world like wildfire, on September 1st, Hitler invaded Poland, the day the festival began. A case of bad luck at its worst. The festival had only screened one film before shutting down completely, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, directed by William Dieterle, a German-American director. Only 2 days after the invasion, France and Berlin declared war on Germany, leaving the festival to be forgotten as war became the primary focus. The Second World War officially began, halting all festival activities.
Tomorrow, you see, love is only a part of my life. It's a very sweet part, I admit.
For me, it's everything.
A second attempt at celebrating film. With innocent death one after another caused by hate-stricken monsters, World War II finally came to an end 6 years later. Trying to bring tourists back to the French Riviera after being frightened to do so, France's provincial government approved a second attempt at the Le Festival International du Film in 1946.
Annual film festival has been held.
It would be until the other side of the war for the festival to officially return in 1946, with 21 countries seizing the opportunity to finally present their films at Cannes. At the Casino of Cannes on September 20th, 1946, the Cannes Film Festival began. From England came David Lean's immortal fated romance Brief Encounter, 1945. From Italy came Roberto Rossellini's revolutionist landmark Rome, Open City, 1945.
Francesco, i tedeschi, i fascisti!
From France came Jean Cocteau's fantastical Beauty and the Beast, 1946. And from America came seminal classics like Billy Wilder's The Lost Weekend, 1945, Charles Vidor's Gilda, 1946, and Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious, 1946, and American entrepreneur Walt Disney's Make Mine Music. Louis Lumière became the festival's inaugural jury president and gave great honor in deciding the strong lineup of international pieces. From the start, the festival's emphasis was more on diversity and artistic achievement rather than on competition. However, 9 films were still honored with the top award, Grand Prix. From this point on, the festival was a roaring success, with a few bumps along the way, such as economic issues canceling the 1948 and 1950 festivals. Still, in 1947, the festival fell under the Centre National de la Cinématographie, CNC, a government body whose purpose is to preserve France's cinema culture and the cinematic arts. Rather than having films chosen by the festival, governments of the film's respective countries chose their submissions.
Walk fast and don't turn back.
Down strange, forbidden byways he wandered in search of his soul.
The evolution of the festival from the 50s. In the 50s, the festival realized that its rivals such as the Venice Film Festival and the Berlin International Film Festival were hosting their events earlier in the year. So, with some consideration, Cannes agreed to move their event from September to April as an introduction to their local tourist industry. Very quickly, the festival featured some of the world's most significant filmmakers and films, such as English director Alfred Hitchcock's I Confess, American director Orson Welles' Othello, and American director George Stevens' A Place in the Sun.
I've been wanting to do that for such a long time.
So did I.
Will we see each other again like this?
In 1952, the festival's permanent residency for 3 decades landed on Palais Croisset, but success in later years would deem this home unsuitable for the number of attendees. The 1950s marked the cultural formation of the festival, rapidly skyrocketing in popularity due to the various celebrities and uber-famous faces like Kirk Douglas, Sophia Loren, and Grace Kelly that populated its constituency. Also, in the 50s, the festival gained a lot of tourism and publicity traction with scandals and publicity stunts. In 1953, the stunning Bridgette Bardot influenced the festival's future traditions as she wore a bikini in front of the cameras on the infamous shoreline. French activist, actress, and singer shocked the world as Kirk Douglas even said, "I never seen one of those before," as he spoke about the bikini. In 1954, 26-year-old French star Simone Silva posed topless on the beach for the cameras and was then named Miss Festival. Silva stood alongside Robert Mitchum as she cupped her bare chest and went as far as indirectly injuring several photographers who were clawing at the opportunity to snag a shot of her. Oh, the power women behold. The Cannes Film Festival was now branded within everyone's mind as a beautiful woman lingered within their eyesight. All I can say is, Silva is a badass woman.
New enticing sensation.
I'm sorry I had to ask so many personal questions.
Just adding to the beach pictures, in 2006, Sacha Baron Cohen made his iconic appearance as Borat in a neon mankini, best dressed at the Cannes Film Festival. Speaking of the history of Cannes is incomplete without speaking of fashion. For many decades, the Cannes Film Festival has been one of the most glamorous events of the year, filled with the most notable stars. These industry officials, models, Hollywood stars, and international figures from cinema all come dressed to impress. Cinema, fashion, and glamour were served on a platter with every taste bud provided for. Hollywood Insider has closely observed and chronicled the fashion at Cannes over the years, with awards such as Best Dressed at Cannes Film Festival. Cannes Trophies. In 1954, Parisian jeweler Suzanne Lazone suggested that the festival's award trophy should be in the palm tree design as the environment had become a staple of the event. French director Jean Cocteau, Lawson's friend, picked up the idea and created a design that amazed the festival so much that the top prize, Grand Prix, was renamed Palme d'Or. The first Palme d'Or was given to Delbert Mann for Marty. However, the award's new name was short-lived and went back to Grand Prix for 2 decades until being reinstated in 1975.
I feel like calling up to see Mary Feeney. She likes you.
Politics and Cannes. This 50s period also saw the grips of the Cold War spell out a brief rise of cinematic censorship in the pursuit of total political abstinence. Omitting films like French director Alain Resnais's Holocaust documentary Night and Fog, 1956, a cutthroat documentary that shows the true monster mentality of World War II, and follow-up set in post-war Japan, Hiroshima, Mon Amour, 1959. Jean Cocteau, president of the jury at the time, was quoted to have said, "The Cannes Film Festival should be a no-man's land in which politics has no place. It should be a simple meeting between friends." Throughout the decade and the one that followed, the festival made a wholehearted push to expunge the ills of censorship and create a space where film was allowed to exist amorphous and aggrandized.
Coincidence, high tide at noon, June and Anne decided to go for a bathe, regardless of the fact that this year the Mediterranean is a bit slow in getting warmed up.
At the festival of 1968, this political freedom was marked by the protests surrounding the students' and labor strike that beleaguered the whole of France. Some of Cannes' most esteemed directors, including Louis Malle, Jean-Luc Godard, Milos Forman, and François Truffaut, stormed a screening of Carlos Saura's Peppermint Frappe, holding the curtain closed and halting the festival.
Semaine et demie, la solidarité du cinéma sur les mouvements étudiants et ouvriers qui se passent en France.
From this came the dawn of a new era for Cannes, focused on promoting empowering and often controversial films with their impact on the art form and the global narrative surrounding it. This led to brash, boisterous outings like Robert Altman's MASH, 1970, Mohamed Lakhdar Hamina's Chronicle of the Years of Fire, 1975, and Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now, 1979, coming to define the 70s. In the 1980s and the 1990s, a more totalistic selection from the world was focused upon, including nations like the Philippines, Australia, India, and Argentina. The 1990s additionally saw the prevalence and prosperity of studio-affiliated independent productions from America, due in large part to a tense disagreement between France and the US over whether film and television fell under free trade rules. This allowed for more distinctly original stories to be told by lesser-known talents at the festival, including Joel and Ethan Coen for their pitch-black Hollywood satire Barton Fink, 1991, Spike Lee's Jungle Fever, 1991, and famously Quentin Tarantino's unchronological sophomore epic Pulp Fiction, 1994. Becoming the most prestigious film festival in the world. In a short amount of time, Festival International du Film de Cannes became the most prestigious film festival globally and stands true to this day. In these early days, rather than viewing films, Cannes was an event for tourists and socialites who enjoyed a good party. Like F. Scott Fitzgerald said in his novel, The Great Gatsby, "And I like large parties. They're so intimate. At the small parties, there isn't any privacy." But, like other film festivals, this event also became an international marketplace between filmmakers, producers, and distributors to exchange ideas, sign contracts, and make money. In 1959, the first global platform for film commerce, Marché du Film, Film Market, was founded and gave the festival a commercial edge between business people in the film industry. With over 12,500 participants currently, the Marché du Film remains the world's leading market for the global film industry. In 1965, British-American actress Olivia de Havilland became the first woman as jury president for Cannes, followed by Italian actress Sophia Loren. Films screened at Cannes Film Festival in the 60s included American director Robert Mulligan's To Kill a Mockingbird, French director François Truffaut's La Peau Douce, and Italian director Federico Fellini's La Dolce Vita.
What are you gonna give me?
There's a pearl necklace. There's a ring that belonged to your mother.
On February 9, 1968, the non-profit organization Cinématique Française decided to remove Henry Langlois, director and co-founder of the organization. The issue arises when the resignation of Langlois, a prevalent feature for the French New Wave, angered his followers and admirers, such as French-Swiss director Jean-Luc Godard and François Truffaut. This news coincided with the beginning of Cannes' 1968 festival, so directors Louis Malle and Roman Polanski resigned from the jury and requested the festival shut down in protest against the resignation.
Je vais vous lire une motion qui a été rédigée cette nuit à l'école de Vaugirard.
C'est François Truffaut qui parle.
In addition, other film directors such as Stanley Kubrick, Roberto Rossellini, and Charles Chaplin sent letters to the Cinématique explaining their anger and threats to retract their films from their archives. The protests went as far as to Godard and Truffaut bursting into a theater and hanging from the curtains to prevent the screening. Soon after, Henry Langlois was reinstated into the CNC, but it was too late to resume the 1968 Cannes Film Festival after the protest. In 1972, Robert Favre Lebret became the new president and brought many changes to the festival, such as Cannes choosing the films themselves rather than having the corresponding countries.
De se trouver parmi nous, peut-être autant que nous le sommes nous-mêmes de l'accueillir.
This new change was the beginning for the selection process used by film festivals to this very day. The 70s brought the force of American directors with films such as Martin Scorsese's Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore and Taxi Driver, Steven Spielberg's The Sugarland Express, and Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation. Although do not be blinded, American directors were not the only force when the appearance of Russian director Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris, Polish French director Roman Polanski's The Tenant, and British director Ridley Scott's The Duelists. When the festival began getting larger than ever before in the 80s, its old home in the Palais Croisset was no longer suitable. So, in 1982, the city of Cannes built a new conference center, Palais des Festivals et des Congrès, with many stars such as Johnny Hallyday, Clint Eastwood, Jean-Paul Belmondo, and Sharon Stone leaving their handprints in clay outside the building. The 1980s were dominated by Japanese director Akira Kurosawa, who was previously bankrupt but was helped financially by George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola. With their help, Kurosawa made Kagemusha, which earned the top prize, Palme d'Or, along with the American theater director Bob Fosse's All That Jazz. Other films that starred in the 80s included German director Wim Wenders' Paris, Texas, New Zealand director Jane Campion's Sweetie, and French-Swiss director Jean-Luc Godard's Passion.
Mais qui dans tous les cas est séparé du réel extérieur par les à peu près profondément calculés de la vraisemblance.
Inclusion of independent films. The 1990s continued the independent theme set by 1989's surprise winner for the Palme d'Or, American director Steven Soderbergh's indie Sex, Lies, and Videotape. The 26-year-old Soderbergh won over Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, which angered Lee, but heightened the boost for indie films in the US. Films screened in the 90s included American directors Coen brothers Bart and Fink, American director Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction,
C'est la vie, c'est the old folks, the culture show you never can tell.
and American director Robert Altman's The Player. In 1993, New Zealand director Jane Campion became the first and currently only female director to win the Palme d'Or for The Piano. To celebrate the 50th anniversary in 1997, the festival brought back Palme d'Or winners to pay tribute to half a century of films in Cannes. Swedish director Ingmar Bergman, known for his pieces such as The Seventh Seal, Persona, and Wild Strawberries, was awarded the Palme de Palme to honor his cinematic mastery.
With honor and humility, he wants to say thank you to everybody.
Throughout the 90s, Cannes did a brilliant job at presenting a diverse mix of films, as the Danish director Lars von Trier's Breaking the Waves, British director Terry Gilliam's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and Japanese director Takeshi Kitano's Kijiro. Cannes' mentorship and guidance program, La Cine Fondation. With soaring director after director, the festival began noticing that upcoming filmmakers were having difficulty getting their work shown. The new millennium brought about yet another opportunity for outreach and advancement for Cannes, seeing the formation of La Cine Fondation in 1998 by Gilles Jacob, which spotlighted film school productions and young creators dedicated to supporting young creators from scriptwriting, recognizing their work on a global scale, and looking for financial support.
The voice of the filmmaker. I think there's a lot that we can learn from young people or from the next generation.
The program would allow for the inexperienced writers or directors to work on their production with the industry's premier minds, as well as establishing a network of connections to serve them throughout their careers. La Cine Fondation additionally serves as a means which up to 20 upshot directors and their projects are selected for funding and advising. The Cine Fondation then created the Atelier that selects 15 feature film projects and invites the directors to the festival so that they can link up with industry professionals. While much has changed in both the world and the industry since the inception of Cannes in 1938, the heart of the festival and its commitment to preserving filmic integrity and imagination has only grown stronger with each decade.
It's what's important in cinema always, is to find freshness, to find honesty, to find directors who are really passionate about what they're doing.
The 2000s and the new world of digital technology. The 2000s brought the new world of digital technology and the future of filmmaking. In 2000, Lars von Trier's Dancer in the Dark became the first digitally shot film to win the Palme d'Or.
Please kill me. You just be my friend. And show some mercy, please.
A year later, the previously known Festival International du Film de Cannes shortened its name to Festival de Cannes, which is still used today. In the same year, American director Michael Moore's Bowling for Columbine became the first documentary to screen in competition and would go on to win a Palme d'Or for Fahrenheit 9/11, as noted as the only documentary to take home the top prize.
The jury is proud to award the Palme d'Or this year to Fahrenheit 9/11.
In this decade, films that received accolades included Roman Polanski's The Pianist, American director Gus Van Sant's Elephant, and Australian director Baz Luhrmann's Moulin Rouge.
You're gonna be bad for business, I can tell.
On the other hand, Vincent Gallo's The Brown Bunny received one of the longest-standing boos in the festival history with his unwatchable film starring himself. The Cannes crowds are known not to be afraid of showing their displeasure, and they did not hold back from tearing Gallo apart. This film, to most critics, is labeled as the worst film ever shown at the Cannes Film Festival.
By the way, happened before the film started. The opening credits say, directed and produced by Vincent Gallo. Boo like crazy.
Lars von Trier screamed his film Antichrist that included genital mutilation, but he did not stop there, as in 2011 he became known as persona non grata, an unwelcome person, after he made some disturbing comments during one of his press conferences for Melancholia.
Sir,
what can I say? I understand Hitler.
In recent years, films that became crowd pleasers included Greek director Yorgos Lanthimos' The Lobster, American director Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom, and American director Todd Haynes' Carol. Some memorable moments of the 21st century included when Lindsay Lohan was issued a warrant of arrest after failing to show up for a scheduled court hearing. Instead, she was caught partying the night away on the French Riviera.
Thank you. Is this you? Come on.
A year later, Canadian actor Ryan Gosling had a bromance moment and kissed his director Nicholas Winding Refn for Drive. In 2015, a security guard kicked out women from the Carol screening when they were caught breaking the female dress code. This sexist policy banned women from wearing flat shoes and pants to premieres. 3 years later, artistic director Terry Fremeau created the no selfies rule, so no selfies and no flat shoes. 82 women in 2018, including Kristen Stewart, Jane Fonda, Agnes Varda, Patty Jenkins, and Cate Blanchett, walked arm in arm in protesting against the festival's treatment of women.
Women are not a minority in the world, yet the current state of our industry says otherwise.
Stewart later removed her high heels and walked up the famous staircase barefoot.
To climb the steps in bare feet.
Structure of the Cannes Film Festival. Award categories. The official selection separates into categories, which feature films only eligible for Palme d'Or, Grand Prix, and the Jury Prize. Then you have sidebars such as the Director's Fortnight and International Critics Week that give out their own rewards and have different criteria for their selection. In 1978, the Untitled Chapter was created for non-traditional stories, and winners of this category are given the grant to help them with the international distribution of their work.
A huge honor. It's a huge honor for me, for the film, to be a part of it, for the category, part of the category. I mean, not many Indian films be a part of this category.
Finally, the Short Film Corner, apart from the official selection, allows you to submit your own short film for a fee. Official selection prizes: Palme d'Or, the Golden Palm; Grand Prix, second most prestigious; Prix de Jury, Jury Prize; Camera d'Or, Best Feature Film by First-Time Director; Palme d'Or du Court-Métrage, Best Short Film; Prix d'interprétation féminine, Best Actress; Prix d'interprétation masculine, Best Actor; Prix de la mise en scène, Best Director; Prix du scénario, Best Screenplay.
12살의 나이에 영화 감독이 되기로 마음먹었다. 이 트로피를 이렇게 손에 만지게 될 날이 올 줄은 상상도 못했습니다.
Untitled Chapter prizes: Jury Prize, Best Performance, Best Director, Jury's Coup de Coeur, Jury Special Mention. A look forward at the official selection for 2021. For the first time in decades, 2020 saw the postponement and eventual cancellation of the Cannes Film Festival in light of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We've never been through such a thing ever since we were young children.
The 74th annual Cannes Film Festival will take place from July 6th to 17th. Annette by Leos Carax, starring Adam Driver, and Oscar winner Marion Cotillard of La Vie en Rose fame, are set to open the 74th Cannes Film Festival.
What's your problem?
Do the Right Thing, 1989, and Black Klansman, 2018 director Spike Lee will head the jury. In addition, Jodie Foster will be receiving the festival's honorary Palme d'Or in honor of her artistic journey. The recently announced official selection for 2021 features several major premieres from some of film's biggest stars and greatest talents. Wes Anderson's long-awaited live-action follow-up to The Grand Budapest Hotel, 2016, The French Dispatch, 2021, will have its first-ever screening at the festival.
Arthur Howitzer Jr. transformed the series of travelogue columns into The French Dispatch.
Joining the lights of The Florida Project, 2017, director Sean Baker's Red Rocket, 2021, and Columbus, 2017. Director Kogonada's After Yang, 2021, as representatives of the United States. Other anticipated festival releases from around the world include RoboCop, 1987, Netherlandian director Paul Verhoeven's Vendetta, 2021, and Moroccan director Nabil Ayouk's Casablanca Beats, 2021. These only represent a small fraction of the talent set to be on display at the festival, and while there may be much uncertainty in the world at large, there is one thing to be sure about: Cannes and cinema itself is ready to mount a colossal comeback.
Tu t'appelles comment?
Sœur Benedetta, et toi?
Bartholoméa. Je vais tomber.
Keeping cinema alive for future generations, a lasting dedication to cinematic ingenuity and inclusivity. The festival remains to be one of the most famous and most significant media events on the planet. Every year, thousands of films from over 100 countries submit to the festival, hoping to be considered for the official selection. However, only 50 feature films and 30 short films are chosen to compete in the competition. Not only does the Cannes Film Festival dedicate its time to reorganizing creators, uplifting future filmmakers, and creating connections between individuals around the world, but they are consciously worrying about the environment.
Ceux qui sont là accrédités se voient remettre une épaisseur de papier extraordinaire.
At the festival, 60% of the transportation is done using electric and hybrid hybrid vehicles, eco-responsible dining, elimination of plastic water bottles, and sourced goods from France and Europe. No matter the era, Cannes has continuously embodied the greatest heights of world cinema and remained a dedicated defender of film history and culture. If cinema is indeed the international language as it was originally intended to be, then Cannes has long served as its foremost almanac, uniting cultures, peoples, and artistry from around the globe together for a week of boundary-breaking celebration, a genuine chronology of global cinephiles with the pantheon of Palme d'Or winners and Cannes legends.
Voilà donc Océan applauded by festival goers.
Offering a wealth for any cinema lover and a guide for any aspiring filmmaker. To all the lucky ones attending Cannes Film Festival 2021, enjoy that moment of silence as you stare in awe at gratitude at the screen. Then magic happens, and voila, cinema.
But what should we be looking at? Should we be looking out for?
Well, we should look at cinema.